Hello there, Stampers. How are you today? I am going to show you how to make this fun fold card. I call it an overlapping fun fold card. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but that's what I call it because it folds and it overlaps. So I made this card as a wedding card for my son and daughter-in-law. They got married 2 weeks ago in France. It was a lovely, lovely wedding, and it was very special. They're very special to me, so I, of course, made what I consider a very special card. This one uses the Eden's Garden stamp set and soft succulent ink, and the paper was from the Eden's Garden suite. That is, unfortunately, this paper is no longer available. So I'm going to show you how to make it with some paper that we have that's current in our current catalog. But obviously you can use whatever you want to make this card. There's, use what's in your stash. It's just really fun. It's very little stamping. It's actually very straightforward. I'm going to make one as a birthday card with you today. And, it's really a fun card. I think it's not difficult, and yet it has a big wow factor, which, are some of my favorite kind of cards. So let's get started. My name is Linda Edwards. I am with Crafty Heron Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And if you do not have your own demonstrator, or you are not currently a demonstrator, and you would like any answers to any questions, or if you'd like any of the items that I'm going to feature today in my video, feel free to contact me. I would love to be your demonstrator. I really enjoy card making and love sharing it with other people. So, as I said, we're going to use the Eden's Garden stamp set, but because I'm making it a birthday card and there is not a sentiment in this stamp set, I am going to use the sentiment from the Artfully Layered stamp set. This Happiest Birthday Wishes is what I'm going to use today. And I just love the fonts in this card. And you could certainly make this card with the Artfully Layered suite and all the papers from there, if you have it and if you would like to. So the first thing I do is let's look at all of our pieces. And I wrote these, I typed these up for you so you could do a screenshot. I will have this information on the Facebook page or YouTube page for you. But, it's easiest to go ahead and take a look at it here. We made this card in my class. And when you come to my classes, I usually give you all of the pieces come in an envelope. And so let's go ahead and go through all of the pieces that you need for this card. So the card base, I'm using an Evening Evergreen card base. It's 5.5 by 4.25. And we're going to set that aside because that's one of the last things you're going to do is put that card base, put everything on the card base. So this is gold layer because I did it for that original card. But for this card, I'm going to use a Highland Heather base. It's 5.25 by 4 inches. That's going to layer there. Then we have 2 layers of coordinating cardstock. I'm using the hand-penned Designer Series paper. Just love this paper. It is retiring with the current catalog. It will be available for purchase through May 2nd. And then we have some other wonderful new papers to take its place. So I have two pieces of this. It's 3/4 by 3 7/8. And that's going to kind of layer just like that. And then we have a layer of basic white, 3 5/8 by 3 7/8. And because they're so close, it's a little tricky. You got to kind of watch when you go to stamp it. Make sure that you're stamping it the correct way. You can see that's how that one's going to layer. Make sure that's all in the page. And then for the folding layers, the larger one, we start with the Evening Evergreen, which is 3 3/8 by 4. And it is scored at 1/2 inch on the long side. So this is the 4-inch side. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch. You can use either your Stampin' Trimmer or if you've got a scoring board, that works as well. So that's that layer. Then, well, let's do it the way it is here. So then the other layer of Evening Evergreen is 3 inches by 3.5 inches, and that is also scored on the long side. That's that 3.5 inch side, and it's scored at 1/2 inch. And then we have 2 pieces of what was originally gold. Now they are Highland Heather. 3 3/8 by 3 1/4, and 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. That one is square. Then a designer series paper. I tried to cut it so that I could get these pretty flowers on it. And you do want to kind of pay attention if there's an orientation to your paper. Make sure that you've got it the correct way. It's 3 1/4 by 3 1/8, and it's going to layer up just like that on that page. Okay. And then the other gold or Highland Heather is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and the basic white is 2 3/4 square. So 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and that is gonna layer up that way. So those are all your measurements. Let's put that aside and start with our stamping. So as I said, I think the thing to do is put this base layer aside, because that's the last thing that you're going to use, and you don't want to get carried away in layering everything before it's all assembled. So I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper here, and the first thing I'm going to stamp is the inside. As I said, I kind of know that it's going to be this way, and I am using soft succulent ink. And as I said, the birthday sentiment is from Artfully Layered. And I like to use my my grid paper to kind of line up my stamp. And there we go. The inside, and then this is the piece. Since it's square, it doesn't really matter which way you orient it. I did play around a little bit with this stamp and decided that I liked these little dots to kind of line up at that corner. This is a distinctive stamp, so it doesn't really look like there's a lot of ink on there, but there's plenty. And one of the wonderful things about this distinctive stamp is that you get a multi-dimensional image just with one stamp. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all the dimension in that single image. Darker, lighter, just really, really pretty. Done some fun things with that. Oh, and before I forget, I always like to stamp the envelope. Give our letter carriers, our mail carriers, something fun to see, and kind of give your recipient a little hint of what might be inside. So go ahead and stamp that. Cleaning that off camera. Okay, so now we're basically just going to assemble the card. I mean, it's really very straightforward. So the way I found works best for me to do this, I like to use liquid glue, but certainly you use whatever adhesive you like. Since this paper does have an orientation, you do want to kind of pay attention to where it sits on the page. I'm going to go ahead and put, last time I did it one in order, top to bottom, but let's try it this way and see. I don't think it's going to matter much. I'm just trying to line it up so that the bottom and the 2 sides are kind of equidistant from each other. And of course, having the liquid glue gives me a little wiggle room, a little time to kind of get it all lined up. And then this should kind of fit right in the middle, but you can overlap it if for some reason it doesn't fit. But there you go. Yeah, see, it's a little bit up there. I'm going to slide that up just to see if I can slide that up a hair. Not that it's really going to matter that much, but there we go. Okay. So that's the inside layer. Now we're going to set that aside and assemble our 2 fold over the fun fold. So this, again, this is just all gluing, adhering. It's very straightforward. Just there isn't a lot of room here, so you do want your paper cutting to be accurate, because we've only got 1/8 of an inch between the different layers. You could put more in it. Doesn't have to be 1/8 of an inch, but I just wanted a little bit of just to be able to see a little bit. So I'll put that one aside and assemble this one. That way it gives the layer a chance to dry a little bit. Let's see, corner. Gives it a chance to dry before I handle it and putting the pieces together. So there we go. So we did this card in my class. I do hold classes in my home. If you're in the Greensboro area, Greensboro, Georgia, that is, would love for you to join us. So we have a lot of fun. Just making cards and laughing and sharing kind of what's going on in our lives, just making friends. And I'm, small group. I don't have more than 8 people usually. We do it right in my home studio. So we have a lot of fun. We'd love for you to join us. Okay, so here, now what I'm going to do is I'm basically lining this up. Oh, look what I did. Upside down. You know what? Doesn't matter. Remember I told you I wanted that to be in that corner? Well, no, I can't. Because this would be another option, right? I could do this. But I can't do that because then this piece will be upside down. No worries. No worries. Okay. Let's go ahead and get that assembled. That's what happens. I start talking and lose track of what I'm doing, right? And I'm just lining this up so it's kind of between, kind of equidistant between the white layer. Fold that over. So I've got just about the same amount of white on either side. Oh gosh, that is just so pretty, isn't it? I just love this paper. Thank goodness, I've still got quite a bit of it that I can use because I really am going to miss it when it's gone. But of course, like I said, there's so many other fun things coming that I don't usually miss it for too long. There we go. Now line that one up. And you certainly could use your grid paper to line it, but it's pretty straightforward. There we go. And now you can bring in this piece. See why I said you want to kind of set it aside so that you're not tempted to assemble that layer before you're really ready. Get that. And then that's going to be glued down. And there's a little bit more. It's got 1/4 of an inch all the way around on this side, the size difference between that base layer and the Highland Heather. But there you go. So now we're going to just add a little bling. And we will be done. So, I used gold as my accent from my first piece. So I had gold ribbon, but because I don't have the gold in this one, I decided to do something different. I am, however, still using the soft succulent. This dye, I should have told you, this dye comes from the Eden's Garden dye set that goes along with that Eden's Garden. I think they're called garden dyes with that stamp set. It comes as a bundle, and it is still available as a bundle, I think, through the end of June. So I am just going to go ahead and attach that right there. I went ahead and die cut that off screen so that we could move things along here. I just thought that was kind of fun. Add another little dimension, a little layer, and then so then I wanted to add a bow. I used the gold bow for the original card because I had the gold accent, but because I've got the Highland Heather here, I wanted to use I use a different color. Certainly the gold would have worked, but this is the Highland Heather. It's called Grosgrain Ribbon, and it's thick. You see how originally it's pretty thick. So it was really too thick for my card. I mean, I guess I could have done something, just tied it in a knot, but it was a little too thick for me. So I went ahead and cut it. I just used my paper snips to cut it and come up with that size. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to show you here Again, it's about 7 inches long. It's about a 7-inch piece. And I'm just going to kind of cut it so that it's thinner. You can see that it'll fray a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Once you tie it, it'll be pretty stable. So just kind of cut it like that. I could even use this really skinny one. I'm afraid that one will fray too much because it's cut on both sides. And then I'm just going to tie a little bow with this and attach it to my card. I can kind of play around with the size. I didn't want anything too big, because it's kind of a delicate card. So you kind of play around with it a little bit to get it to lie the way you want. There we go. It's going to lie just like that. Oh, that'll be pretty. And I'm going to use a glue dot. Glue dots work best, I think, with ribbon. So put that glue dot right there. And I will trim the ends after I get it attached. There we go. There's a little bit of fraying there. I'll go ahead and cut that off. Kind of see. And then let's see, which way do I want to do it? I'll do it that way. And I don't want it to hang over too much, to hang off the card too much, just because I don't want it to get caught in the envelope. That's always the way, right? Mess it up. You know, part of the trick is knowing when to stop, isn't it? When enough is enough. Okay, there we go. And let's see, if you have the garden gems that came with that Eden's Garden set, those are beautiful, and I would say use those. But the other thing you can use is there are these Highland Heather gems, and this is the pastel pearls that is still available in the current catalog. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use the pastel pearls, and I'm going to just put them kind of right there. This is the Highland Heather there. And maybe put, where do I want that third one? Maybe 2 is just enough, isn't it? Yep, I think it's enough. Stop while you're ahead. So there we go. That's our card. I think anybody would love to get that happy birthday card in the mail. Here's the original one that I made. With that paper from the Eden's Garden. Just love that. And you see those are the gems from that Eden's Garden. These are really pretty. They're kind of an oval shape. And that was a wedding card. And then I actually also made one with the hand penned and the gold, which is also a beautiful card. So 3 different cards, very similar. And you can see I did those dots in this corner, but I don't think it really matters. I think nobody would really notice if I didn't point it out. Anyway, if you have a favorite, let me know. If you if you make this your own, I would love to see, picture of it, put it in the comments. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up or a heart emoji or whatever. It always helps other people to find me. And helps keep me motivated to share my love of card making with you and show you some of the different card techniques that I've come across and played with. Until later, till my next video, hopefully a week or so, I will say goodbye. Have a great rest of your day, and keep crafting. Bye.